All right, we're right on time this morning. Good morning.
I know.
How was yesterday? Did you all have a good time? Good sessions? Yeah? Awesome. You are all amazing. All of the vendors and presenters have said how amazing and engaged you've all been, and we really appreciate you, being really intentional here and being present, and I hope being curious. And so you've hopefully explored some of those opportunities. And speaking of opportunities, we have a dynamite panel of self-advocates here to tell you about how some of their opportunities have led to things that they couldn't really imagine happening to them. So they've taken advantage of some of those opportunities, and they wanted to share a little bit about that with you. Today's moderator is Felicia Claiborne. Felicia's from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and she is an entrepreneur. She manages a travel service for people with disabilities. She is one of the Wisconsin Board for People with Developmental Disabilities board members. She is also a staff person for People First Wisconsin. And that's just a few of the things that Felicia has done. So she's going to share a little bit about herself as well when she's up here. But I just wanted to thank you all for being here. After the keynote, there's going to be more great sessions. And after that, we'll be back here for lunch. And then don't forget to come back after those sessions later this afternoon. And we will have some really cool door prizes. So here is Felicia Claiborne.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our Wednesday keynote. I am so excited. My name is Felicia Claiborne, as Phil has said. I am a statewide advocate and serve on the board with people with developmental disabilities. I am also a part of People First Wisconsin. I am going to introduce our panel: Sydney Badeau, Jordan Anderson, Christy Schuterman, and Sydney Bitley. I'm going to ask them some questions. Hi, Sydney. Welcome. Tell us a little bit about your story.
My name is Sydney Badeau. I'm an outreach self-advocate for People First Wisconsin and an advocacy and outreach specialist for the ARC Wisconsin. I am also a member of the Wisconsin Board for People with Developmental Disabilities, known as BPDD, and I'm president of the Wisconsin Youth Leadership Forum, and I'm also a member of the Wisconsin Board of Directors. I'm a graduate of Partners in Policymaking. I got started in advocacy about 12 years ago when I was a delegate for the Youth Leadership Forum. That was when I learned about BPDD and other leadership opportunities. Greg, a staff person for the Wisconsin Youth Leadership Forum and a self-advocate, suggested I apply for Partners in Policymaking. Later, he would also encourage me to join BPDD board.
Jordan.
Good morning, Felicia. It's good to be here as a keynote. As Felicia said, my name is Jordan Anderson. I work at the Marshfield Clinic as a patient care attendant. I got my job through Project Search. As there's a group of Project Search students here today, and a wealth of new people and some old people. So it's good to see you all. I graduated from high school in 2021. My first conference I attended was in 2020, and it really changed my life because I attended a session on guardianship, and the next day I retained my guardianship, and I also am a SARDAC Fellow, which is a leader, is a SARDAC Fellow means a leader, and I also participate with Wisconsin Board for People with Developmental Disability on their supported decision making project, and I also uh do many more things, but that's just a variety of things that I want to mention today.
Christy,
Hi, I'm super excited to be here. As Felicia said, my name is Christy Schoeneman. I have been a Living Well self-advocate leader since 2019, teaching the Safe and Free curriculum and the Rights Toolkit. My outreach has also included presenting at last year's self-determination conference, doing panels at the consortium meetings, and speaking at other presentations on my advocacy experiences. I am also a recent graduate of the Partners in Policymaking course.
I'm so glad that you say that. So welcome to the partner family. Cindy,
Oh. Oh. My name is Cindy Bentley, and I'm the Executive Director of People First of Wisconsin. I came from a state institution on June 1st, 1984. I worked hard and became the person I am today. I have my own apartment for 39 years. I self-direct my services through the IRIS program, and the IRIS allows me to have my own voice and to be and to lead a wonderful life. Okay, wonderful life. I would not be where I am today without the support I have received.
I want to ask another question to all of you. What does leadership mean to you? We're going to start with Christy.
For me, leadership means stepping out of your comfort zone and speaking up on topics that concern you and your community, whether that be the community you live in or a community of people rallying on a topic that you feel passionate about. Leadership is doing what it takes to make your point heard while being respectful of other people's rights and views.
Jordan,
What leadership means to me is someone who takes charge and is willing to listen.
Sydney,
Leadership is about guiding people to knowledge and to be their best self. It is not about being a boss, but more of being a mentor.
Felicia, I forgot one thing. If I
Cindy,
go back a little bit. I forgot one thing on my first thing. I am on the long-term care council, the start screening committee and social isolation national board. I will be celebrating 40 years out of the state institution next year. Stay tuned for more to come.
Cindy, what does leadership mean to you?
Leadership means that you have to learn how to be a leader. You must learn how to assign things to others so they can shine. It's not all about one person. For example, I have 6 staff who work for me, People First of Wisconsin. They too are leaders. I delegate others because I can't do everything. That's the truth. A good leader listens to others and and is respectful to other ideas. They do not come in with their own agenda. I am realizing I used to think that I had to do everything. You don't have to do it all. Good to delegate or ask others to help them. You do not get burnt, so you don't get burnt out. And I am thankful for others who have taught me to be a leader.
Exactly. I can relate to the same thing, to delegate, and also leadership, meaning to be able to impart, to be able to encourage, and to be able to be a mentor. And none of us never came here by ourselves. I got another question. How is the best way to support people with disabilities? And I want you to tell us a little bit about the kind of support you received early on in your journey and what it has meant to you. We're going to start with Jordan.
Thank you for the question, Felicia. I have received a lot of support through my work. But when I get excited about something, I really like to do some research and reach out to other people to make sure that I'm doing the right thing. But I have a large support network, and I thank those who are in my support network, just like many of you here today.
Exactly. And this is the one quote that I love. It takes a community to help advocate along the
Yeah.
journey.
Yeah.
It takes somebody that will get you along the way to be able to advocate in your leadership journey. Cindy.
I am in a youth situation. I received job coaching support in my role as an example, as a director of People First. Iris funds my job coaching services, and I appreciate the Iris consultant really cares about me. There are challenges of supporting somebody in a role of executive director. It is not typically job coach's assistant. I had to speak up and let the job coach know how to support me. Job coaches need to be open to change and flexible. They need to really listen to the person they are serving. The biggest thing is always be kind and work with each other to solve the problem.
That is very true. And I'm so glad that you said that, Cindy. Sydney.
I have not had any official job coaching. Early on, the Youth Leadership Forum helped me learn how to work with kids with disabilities and work together with others. Partners in Policy Making was a big training that helped me learn about policies and how to talk to legislators. And it also gave me the opportunity to meet a lot of great connections. Training at my work for People First in the ARC has helped me learn when to ask for help when I'm struggling with something. And a lot of what I do is self-taught, but that would not have happened without mentors from BPDD and People First encouraging me to believe I could do things.
Christy.
I believe that the best way to support people with disabilities is to truly know what their abilities are and not to undermine them. Be their champion when they need it, but don't overstep the boundaries of dignity and respect. When a person with a disability or anybody comes to you with a problem, believe them and don't just disregard them or assume they're blowing things out of proportion for attention. No matter what disability we have, we are competent and deserve to be treated the same as any other human being. My career started before I even knew this was the career I wanted. As I said earlier, I applied and was selected to be a self-advocate. I was working at Bethesda Lutheran Communities in Watertown when, shout out to Chris Leonard, came to me with the self-advocate opportunity. She was my first person of support because she believed I could step up and make positive changes for others with disabilities. Then when I started working with the board for people with developmental disabilities, shout out to Shannon, Sally, Cindy, and fellow advocates, became my support system. I have gained even more people throughout this journey and could not be more grateful for their guidance and support.
Exactly. And I want to shout out also to Chris Leonard and also to Sally Flashberger, Shannon Webb, Cindy Bentley, and all of them who have helped with her journey. And also shout out to all of the people and mentors of our lives up here. Want to ask you another question. Tell us about training you've received. How has the training and support changed you? What is happening as a result? How are you different now than you were before? Jordan.
Well, this is kind of a loaded question because I received a lot of like trainings and through the board, but I am a youth voice, youth choice for our Wisconsin team. And they had a 16-week course run by people with disabilities. And I received a lot more training with them. Some of the topics we discussed in our 16-week training were self-advocacy, different ways about alternatives to guardianship, and Ashley Matthew has been a real mentor to me, and I'm really grateful and precious to that because she keeps me on my toes because she's been around the block a few times.
I like that.
So I've received a lot of support, and this has just opened many more doors with getting a grant and meeting many different legislators and even the governor a few years ago.
Awesome. Can we give Ashley Matthew a hand for
Yeah,
helping us
yay,
and mentoring other people?
yeah, Ash.
Christy.
My training has been primarily through Living Well, doing the teaching for the Safe and Free curriculum and our monthly meetings, as well as the Partners in Policymaking course. I've also completed peer support training through People First Wisconsin's Sexual Violence Prevention Grant, offered by the Department of Health Services. This training and support has impacted me in a huge way. I wouldn't necessarily say that it's changed me, but it has brought to light who I am and what my purpose is. I think I've always been an advocate, but I learned how to speak up for myself and others in a meaningful way. I found my voice and learned that it matters. Then the first time I taught a class, I was delighted to realize that my participants were listening to me and not only understood, but were really impacted by what I was teaching them. As a result of all of this confidence, my self-esteem has been boosted.
Cindy.
Okay, I have had lots of my training opportunities to be a Special Olympic International Global Messenger. I was one of the 12 athletes traveled all over the world. I served on the BP board, and I was able to go on a trip to Washington, DC. It was marvelous to me. To me to be where Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. spoke. I think that was a really one of my big highlights. This be on the same steps where Martin Luther King did his speech. I took leadership classes at first, and I was not working towards being a director. I was an advocate specialist working hard every day. I have also had training through Living Well and the same peer mentoring training with Chrissy. As a result of getting support, now I support others, self-advocates. People supporting each other is so important, and I am so glad to be a leader.
Exactly. No one comes here by ourselves knowing everything. It takes a community to raise up advocates in our community. Sydney.
About a year and a half ago, I was telling Molly from BPDD how I asked speakers from the speaker series to have their presentations in plain language. And then she asked me if I would do a presentation with her at last year's self-determination conference on plain language. And since then, we've done a handful of presentations. Plain language makes the world more accessible to people with disabilities. I am also working on the People First Wisconsin ARPA grant team, creating a plain language guide and kindness guide. I also recently spoke on a podcast about plain language with like a week notice, and it was just me and the interviewer, and it went pretty well. I feel like people see me as someone who is knowledgeable about plain language and can come to me with questions.
Got another question for you, Four. What have you learned about yourself? We're going to start with Christy.
Through this journey, I have learned that I do have power to make changes for people with disabilities. I've also realized that one of my true passions in advocacy is to bring together those without disabilities and those with disabilities to be each other's support systems.
And that's what you are, Christy, is a connector. To be able to make that chain, to be able for us to turn this world upside down. Jordan.
Like Chrissy said, what I have learned about my journey is I'm happy to contribute. I have learned that I can do stuff and become a leader, and I'm just happy to talk to every one of you today, because I never thought I would be doing this 3 years ago or whenever I attended my first conference, and now look where I'm at, up here.
Yep.
And Jordan, you are a world changer. As I have saw your journey, at the last very few minutes of your guardianship, to be able to turn that thing around and look what you're doing today, inspiring young people and all of us that if you can do it, we can do it too. Sydney.
In the past, I was told you will never be able to work full time and you will never be able to take public transportation. I am now doing both of those things. Don't let others set expectations for you. Set your own expectations and soar high above others' doubts. In places I used to say no, I now say yes. If you would have asked me 5 years ago if I would want to publicly speak at a conference, I would have told you no. Now I'm doing it statewide and nationally, and this leads to other opportunities. For example, I spoke at the Art National Convention last year. Many people asked if I had a LinkedIn. I wasn't on LinkedIn at that time, but I decided I should be. If you don't know about LinkedIn, it's kind of like social media, but for work stuff. Being on LinkedIn led to the executive director of WISPEX reaching out and asking if I would apply to be on their board of directors. I am now serving on their board of directors.
And with that, Sydney, I see you as a wonderful teacher and a guide to people with disabilities across the board and across the ages. Because when they told you no, you said yes, and you went and did what you had to do to be able to trail the blade for everybody else. Cindy,
And I may, this may come to tears, but I'm gonna try not to, but I have to read this, I know. The psychologist at the state institution told me I would not amount to anything. And that I would have to live in a group home and work in a shelter workshop. I don't live in a group home. I live in my own apartment. I have become much more confident since being in my job at People First. People think I have confidence, but it is not easy. I struggle because of my history of being in an institution. I had to take baby steps to get where to get here. I also had to be encouraged or pushed to, I had to be encouraged or pushed to, because I got tears in my eyes, I'm sorry. To encourage or push to not to take the easy route. Now I have people in my life who support me and encourage me. We need our friends. I know that I can't always change how people view me. I have to believe in myself and that I have a good heart, and I try to love everybody. And I want to thank all the people in this room that have helped me get to this journey, and to always be there. They've always been there for me, and thank you. And I wanted to say one other thing I wasn't going to, but Nancy always says, talk with your heart. I didn't think I would make it to my big birthday today. I didn't know I would get this far because what I was told. So thank you.
I want to say that Cindy, and as I know her story and I read her book and she told it many times, and been on this journey with her with People First in Wisconsin for so long. And I always told her, never be scared, always speak up. And she is like that bold lion, to have courage and to be able to roar within our community, to tell people you can make it and you can do it, and to tell people love you. And I'm so grateful for that. I got some more questions for you guys. How can self-advocates support other self-advocates? How can we get more self-advocates in leadership roles? I like to say it like this: each one, reach one, and teach one. We're going to start with Jordan.
Well, first of all, that's a powerful story about Cindy, and I want to wish her a happy birthday. And we'll get back to the script here. So my people should join self-advocate meetups because they're held every Monday and Thursday night. The Monday one is from 4:30 to 5:30. And then the Thursday one is from 6 to 7:30, or you can start your own group. Just give me 1 minute, I apologize. Or you can start your own group. Your mentors like Ashley have been very helpful to me to know what to do and what not to do. So I appreciate Ashley once again and everybody here in this room.
People First has a self-advocate meetup twice a week, as Jordan has said. And you can stop at the People First table. And also Nancy, stand up.
Yeah,
This is our operations manager.
and the best.
And she's the best. And you can also stop by and talk to her if you want to get it up on the meetups. It's twice a week. It's giving them an opportunity to meet. They are virtual. All right, Christy.
Self-advocates can support each other by working on important topics together. And I believe we can get more self-advocates in leadership roles by the people that run committees, companies, boards for people that are supporting people with disabilities. Put us on your board, put us in your company. Use us as a valuable resource because we have firsthand experience. And that's what's going to make the company or the board more impactful.
And I like to say this, networking is a great tool. Every single year I go by the tables and sometimes I go on social media to be able to link with people. And linking up with people will make a stepping stone to your destiny, to where you want to go, to be that Judy Heumann, to be that Ed Roberts and that Justin Dart. And I tell you that this conference is a great network. It helped me when I came years ago. It helped me to be able to launch what I do. It wasn't an easy road, but I'm so grateful for it. Sydney.
As I mentioned earlier, it was another self-advocate who encouraged me to apply for partners in policymaking and to be on BPD board. We need to encourage each other. Advocates should support each other at events and other conferences. Something that is really truly amazing about this conference is the incredible support that people are providing and just like helping each other when they need it. I presented solo yesterday for the first time, because usually I present with other people, and even the audience members were helping me out when people were asking questions I didn't know the answers to. So it's just like an incredible amount of support here in these last 3 days.
And I want to thank Phil for the tireless effort that she does every single year. I know she don't like this, but I have to do it. She has a committee behind her, and it's just amazing how we have this conference to be able to see each other. Some of us don't ever see each other in March or either May, but sometimes they can't wait till they get here in October to be able to look at each other and to be able to love on one another. Cindy.
People First of Wisconsin is a statewide advocacy organization run by and for people with disabilities. We come together and support our members to speak up for themselves and each other. Our executive committee meets with the governor's office. We talk about issues that affect people with disabilities, such as the caregiver crisis, access to mental health services, transportation concerns, and other duties to, and other desire, and other,
To see.
yeah, and others to desire to see the closer of institutions
And people support
and supported in the community. Our organization has grown a lot in the last few years through the support of self-advocates. Our mission has brought
Advocate.
advocates together. People first help advocates learn about their rights, how to connect in the community, how to advocate for what they need, and where to find information about the important topics like voting. There are grants. It's possible for self-advocates to grow as a leader. Nothing about us without us. And Nancy's gonna be on the spot again. So every grant that came through our office, Miss Bentley said that we were going after them, and we've gotten every grant that I said go after. No, I don't write them. We'll thank Stephanie she writes our grants. I even have a grant writer now. So we are moving, and before you know it, I'm gonna have to have, we might have to have two directors, because it's like, I'm here, and this is just gonna get bigger. So, and just so you know that I care about this organization, I kept the doors open, and now I'm gonna put Phil on it again. And I'm gonna put through two people on this, Elsa Bautista and Phil, for helping me keep the doors open, moving all the way from the south side to the east side. So I just, seriously, and Phil helped, Elsa Bautista. I have to thank people that really helped us to keep our doors open. And maybe you guys don't want to, but I'm going to put you on the spot because I love you and you helped me to do what I had to do as a director. And like Sydney said, we need other people to help us to get to where we're going. I didn't know how to be a director at first, but now I'm getting there. I'm still taking baby steps. I'm not there yet, but I'll be there. And Nancy told me to speak from the heart, so I am.
And you are, Cindy. I am so grateful for this. I know I have to leave you, but we got to enjoy more of the conference and to prepare for the conference of 2024. I want to know some closing remarks and wisdom to share. We're going to start with Jordan.
Well, first of all, I just want to have a little PSA quick. If you are interested more in my story, I'm doing a session right after this breakout, and I believe it is in Africa 20. So please attend my session, and you can get a chance to talk with me more one-on-one after that session. And so in closing, I just want to thank everybody here to give me this opportunity. But to policymakers, please listen to people with disabilities and value their input and suggestions. And like I said earlier, please don't pass up other opportunities, because you never know where they'll lead you. Just like this one disability conference gave me all these opportunities. And thanks again, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the conference.
Cindy.
If you are part of an organization that has a board and you don't have someone with disability on the board, you need to find one or two, and who can help if you need it. We need people with intellectual disabilities to be around all boards, from the governor's board all the way down to the boards that we have around Wisconsin. Because who lives this every day is the advocates, and you can learn from the advocates. So I like to see that happen as soon as next year. Well, we'll wait to 24, but I want to see how many advocates is going to be around boards. Thank you.
Christy.
In closing, I would like to emphasize the importance of peer mentoring and the need for getting support to fund it. Peer mentoring gives advocates the opportunity to help others in similar situations and gives the person being mentored a chance to connect with someone who understands their situation and experiences. Along with this, as I stated earlier, one of my passions is to bridge the gap between those with disabilities and those without. People in the disability community know the struggles we face, but people outside of it may not fully understand the depths of our issues and triumphs. This integration and education starts at an early age and should be taught all throughout life. Bringing peers together brings understanding, compassion, and a larger circle of support where everybody benefits.
Sydney.
If you are with an organization, think about how you can hire more people with disabilities. People with disabilities work hard just like people without disabilities, and they tend to stay at their jobs longer, and they're also willing to go the extra mile and learn things that might be harder for them to learn, but they'll figure it out. And kind of like Jordan put in the plug, well, I have a session later this morning too with Heidi Lehman about building connections. I think in Africa 50.
Awesome. Awesome. I am so grateful for all these four who have been on this journey with me. And I want to thank every one of you for sharing your experience and wisdom with everyone here today. And I want to say thank you guys for listening to us, because when you listen to us, then we know that that everything is going to work well. It may not be a good journey sometimes, but we'll get through this. And I want to thank Phil for giving us this opportunity. And we'll see everybody at the rest of the conference for this last few hours and for 2024. Thank you so much.
Aren't they amazing? Can you feel the power of self-advocacy? Yeah. As they all highlighted so eloquently, people with disabilities can contribute a valuable role to your organizations, to committees, to the community, to the workforce, on boards and other all places, right? So I really appreciate you guys did a phenomenal job. I want you to stay up here for just a second. I have just a couple of housekeeping notes. Please make sure you visit the exhibitors all the way down the hall and up the hall, and the micro businesses. Most people will be here till at least noon. The Curiosity Corner right across from registration will have tech bites this morning during the break. And I want to just do one last thing. It is Miss Bentley's birthday today.
Oh, no.
And She would never let me get away when we've had my birthday on during the conference without having everybody sing happy birthday. So let's do it. Happy birthday to. Happy birthday to.
Happy birthday, dear Cindy. Happy birthday to you.
All right, thank you.
I love you all.
We'll see you back here for lunch.